Power is never given. Anyone who believes otherwise has already chosen to kneel. From the moment I opened my eyes, I understood something most people refuse to accept, even at the end of their lives. The world does not reward sincerity, effort, or virtue. It rewards those who take, those who seize, those who are willing to reach into the mud, the blood, the screams, and not look away. People love to talk about opportunity, about chances, about someone being recognized. Fools. Recognition is just a story told after the fact, a lie to make theft sound polite. Before recognition, there was force. Before permission, there was conquest. Power never arrives at your door because you deserve it. It arrives only when you have the strength to drag it to your feet and make it stay. Look closely at history, at society, at even the smallest human interactions. Who leads? Not the most moral. Who survives? Not the most kind. Who decides the rules? Not the most just. Power flows upward to those ruthless enough to claim it, and downward to crush those who hesitate. Morality is a language invented by the powerless to negotiate with the powerful. When you lack strength, you call your fear principle. When you lack options, you call your chains values. I have seen countless people curse the world for being unfair, yet refuse to dirty their hands. They demand justice from a system built on domination. They beg mercy from a universe that only respects force. I never begged. From the beginning, I knew that if I wanted something, I would have to pay for it. Not with effort, but with sacrifice. Time, conscience, relationships, reputation. Everything is currency. Those who cannot pay the price call it evil and retreat into excuses. Those who understand the exchange walk forward and collect what they are owed. Power is taken, never given, and the first thing it demands is that you abandon illusions. People cling to the idea that the world should be fair, that good deeds accumulate interest, that patience will be rewarded. These beliefs are not hope, they are sedation. They keep the masses calm while others move pieces behind the curtain. While you wait for your turn, someone else takes the board. I learned early that waiting is just another form of surrender. If you wait for permission, you accept inferiority. If you wait for fairness, you accept weakness. If you wait for the right time, you accept that time owns you. I refuse to belong to time, fate, or expectation. Fate itself is nothing more than a structure built by the strong to harvest the weak. People speak of destiny as if it were sacred. I see it for what it is, a pattern. And patterns exist to be exploited. Heaven does not favor the righteous, it favors the prepared. When fate blocks my path, I do not curse it. I study it, I dismantle it, I use it. Others pray, I calculate. They ask, isn't this lonely? Loneliness is irrelevant. Power does not require companionship. It requires clarity. The moment you let emotions weigh more than outcomes, you have already lost. Love, guilt, regret, these are not virtues, they are vulnerabilities, and the world is merciless in how it exploits weakness. I do not hate emotions, I simply refuse to be ruled by them. When someone stands in my way, I do not ask whether they deserve to fall. Deserving is a meaningless word. The only question is whether their existence interferes with my objective. If it does, they are an obstacle. Obstacles are removed, redirected, or consumed. This is not cruelty, this is efficiency. People fear this mindset because it strips them of excuses. If power is taken, then their failures are not tragedies, they are choices. They chose comfort over risk, approval over dominance, safety over growth. And now they want the world to apologize for the consequences. The world does not apologize. I have seen people with talent rot because they were afraid to offend. I have seen geniuses die unknown because they refused to step on others. I have seen monsters crowned heroes because they understood one truth: outcomes matter more than intentions. Intentions are invisible. Results are absolute. Every step forward demands something behind you be burned. Bridges, identities, morals. Choose wisely what you sacrifice, but never pretend you can advance without loss. The path of power is not for the clean-handed. It is for those who accept stains as proof of progress. When I look at others, I do not see good or evil. I see value, utility, timing. Some are tools, some are shields, some are sacrifices, some are stepping stones, and a rare few are threats to be eliminated early. This is not arrogance. This is awareness. If you wish to take power, understand this. No one will clap when you begin. They will mock you. They will doubt you. They will call you insane, immoral, dangerous. This is how you know you are moving correctly. Approval comes only after victory. When resistance is useless, the weak judge actions by how they feel. The strong judge actions by what they achieve. I do not seek to be understood. Understanding is irrelevant. I seek control over myself first, then over circumstances, then over those who believe themselves beyond my reach. Control is freedom. Control is peace. Control is the only state where fear becomes obsolete. You cannot threaten someone who has already accepted loss. I have accepted that I may be hated, hunted, cursed, remembered as a villain, or erased entirely. None of that matters. Legacy is for those who need witnesses. I need results. Every moment, I ask myself one question. Does this increase my power or dilute it? If it weakens me, I discard it. If it strengthens me, I endure it. Pain is temporary. Advantage compounds. Others chase happiness. I chase inevitability. In the end, the world belongs to those who remain standing when others collapse under the weight of their own hesitation. When the dust settles, no one asks how gentle your hands were. They ask who won. And if the price of winning is to be alone, to be feared, to be condemned, then so be it. Power is taken, never given, and I have never waited for permission. People often misunderstand my resolve. They think I am fearless. That is wrong. Fear exists. I simply refuse to let it vote. Fear is information, nothing more. I observe it, extract what is useful, and discard the rest. Those who try to erase fear become reckless. Those who obey it become slaves. I stand above it. Fang Yuan once said, "Fear is a useless emotion. Only benefits are real." That sentence alone is enough to crush half the philosophies this world worships. When I move for benefit. When I retreat for benefit. When I sacrifice for benefit. There is no contradiction in my actions, because my standard never changes. Only fools bind themselves to consistency in appearance. The wise are consistent only in purpose. People call this hypocrisy. I call it survival refined into art. Look at how humans behave. Today they praise you, tomorrow they stone you. Today they swear loyalty, tomorrow they sell your name for comfort, yet they still expect you to be loyal to them. How laughable. Fang Yuan said it clearly. Only benefits are eternal. Feelings are fleeting. I have tested this truth again and again. When I had nothing, no one stood beside me. When I gained something, suddenly I was surrounded by smiles, concern, loyalty. I did not feel warmth. I felt clarity. Humans orbit power like insects to light. The light disappears, so do they. Once you understand this, betrayal stops hurting. Loss stops shocking. You stop asking why and start asking what. Now, power demands adaptability. Rigid people shatter. Flexible people endure. The world loves to glorify perseverance, but perseverance without intelligence is just slow suicide. There are times to advance and times to hide like dust. Fang Yuan endured humiliation, bowed his head, acted weak, accepted scorn because he understood something others never will. To endure what others cannot endure is true strength. Pride is expensive. I spend it only when the return is guaranteed. You think power is loud. It is not. True power is silent until the moment it strikes. It waits. It accumulates. It hides its fangs behind smiles and patience. When it finally moves, resistance is already meaningless. Many people want strength, but refuse the waiting. They want domination without preparation. They want victory without losing face. They want rewards without paying the cost. These people are not unlucky. They are delusional. Heaven does not favor them. Heaven crushes them. Fang Yuan said, "The righteous path talks about justice. but in the end it still relies on strength. That is the hypocrisy of the world laid bare. Laws, morals, systems, all of them are decorations placed on top of raw power. Strip the decorations away and what remains? Whoever is stronger decides what is right. I do not rebel against this truth. I embrace it. That is why I do not hate the world. Hatred implies disappointment. I was never disappointed because I never lied to myself about what the world is. A battlefield disguised as civilization. A slaughterhouse masked with etiquette. In such a place, kindness without strength is cruelty to oneself. Do you know why heroes die young? Because they mistake ideals for armor. They believe the world will spare them because they are good. Fang Yuan mocked this delusion perfectly. If being righteous guaranteed survival, then the graves would be filled with villains instead. I learned early to treat every interaction as an exchange. Even love is a transaction, whether people admit it or not. When the cost exceeds the benefit, affection decays. Only power changes the terms of the deal. That is why I seek power relentlessly. Not to rule others for pleasure, but to ensure I am never at the mercy of their moods, fears, or lies. Freedom without power is a fantasy sold to the weak. There were moments when the path demanded things from me that others would call unforgivable. I did not flinch. Regret is a luxury of those who can afford to lose. Fang Yuan's words echo endlessly in my mind. If I had to do it again, I would still choose the same path. That is the mindset required to reach the end. People ask, what if you lose everything? I already answered that long ago. As long as I live, everything can be taken again. Status can be rebuilt. Allies can be replaced. Resources can be reclaimed. Even reputation is just another mask. Death is the only true loss, and even then, only if you die without achieving anything. This is why threats do not work on me. You cannot scare someone who has already weighed every outcome and accepted them. I do not need hope. Hope is for those who lack plans. I do not need faith. Faith is for those who cannot see. I do not need salvation. Salvation is for those who surrendered control. I need only time, calculation, and the willingness to act when others freeze. Fang Yuan said, I am willing to become a demon as long as I can achieve my goal. That is not madness. That is clarity purified to its extreme. If the world demands monsters to survive, then I will be the one who survives as a monster. History is written by the living, not by the virtuous dead. Power is taken, never given. And once you truly understand that, you stop asking the world for permission and start carving your name into it. You want to know how I think? Then abandon the idea that thoughts must be gentle. From the start, I never believed the world owed me anything. Birth is not a blessing. Talent is not a gift. Opportunity is not kindness. These are variables, nothing more. Whoever can grasp them survives. Whoever cannot becomes fertilizer. People cry about injustice. I measure it. Fang Yuan once said something very simple, yet terrifyingly true. There is no absolute justice in this world, only absolute liffey benefit. When you understand this, confusion disappears, hatred disappears, even resentment fades. All that remains is calculation. I do not move for pride. I do not stop for shame. Face, reputation, dignity. These are tools to be worn or discarded, depending on the situation. When bowing is profitable, I bow. When slaughter is profitable, I slaughter. Consistency of behavior is stupidity. Consistency of purpose is supremacy. Others call this cold. I call it clean. You see, emotions are noisy. They distort judgment. They make people cling to things already lost. Fang Yuan never clung. He cut cleanly, decisively, even when it was himself that needed to be cut away. He once implied, if emotions stand in the way of my path, then emotions are the enemy. That includes love. That includes loyalty. That includes mercy, especially mercy. Mercy is the most expensive mistake. It gives enemies time. It gives fate openings. It gives tomorrow a chance to stab you. People praise mercy because they are never the ones paying its price. I pay my prices up front. Do you think I don't understand what I've given up? I understand it perfectly. That is why there is no regret. Regret comes from ignorance, from realizing too late. I realized early. I chose this path with open eyes. Fang Yuan said, "Even if the whole world stands against me, what of it? That is not arrogance, that is acceptance. When you walk alone long enough, opposition loses its weight. The world likes to pretend strength and morality are connected. They are not. Morality bends to strength, like grass in the wind. Today's villain becomes tomorrow's hero. The moment he wins, the corpses do not argue. History does not apologize. I do not need approval from history. Every scheme I weave has one foundation. I assume betrayal. I assume failure. I assume the worst possible outcome and prepare for it. Hope is not part of my strategy. Hope blinds people to risk. Fang Yuan never relied on hope. He relied on backup plans layered beneath backup plans. If one path collapses, another opens. If one identity dies, another is born. If one world rejects me, I will hollow it out and take what I need. Adaptation is the highest form of dominance. People misunderstand patience. They think it is passive. It is not. True patience is active restraint. It is watching enemies grow while knowing exactly when they will be ripe for harvest. Fang Yuan endured centuries of failure because he knew one truth. Time is a weapon when wielded correctly. He once expressed it clearly. I can wait. I have waited before. Those words carry blood. I do not rush victory. I arrange inevitability. When I act, it is already too late for opposition. The outcome has been decided long before the final move. Others call it luck. I call it preparation disguised as chance. Luck favors the prepared demon, not the praying saint. And do not mistake this calm for hesitation. When the moment arrives, I will not hesitate even for a breath. Fang Yuan never hesitated when profit was clear. He understood that hesitation is just fear, wearing logic as a mask. If sacrificing one saves 10 steps later, I sacrifice. If destroying 10 secures the future, I destroy. If becoming a monster ensures survival, then monster is merely a title, Fang Yuan said. As long as I can walk my path, what does being a demon matter? Exactly. People ask where the line is. There is no line. There is only the goal, and everything standing between me and it. Lines are drawn by those afraid of crossing them. I have crossed so many that the ground behind me no longer exists. Do you think this path ends in peace? It does not. It ends in silence. A silence earned by standing at the summit where no one can threaten you. That silence is worth more than comfort, more than love, more than redemption. I am not searching for meaning. Meaning is for those who lack direction. I have direction. I have will. I have clarity, sharpened by countless choices others were too afraid to make. If the heavens block me, I will refine the heavens. If fate binds me, I will consume fate. If the world demands I kneel, I will break its knees instead. This is not rebellion. This is alignment with reality. Power is taken, never given, and I have already paid the price others still pretend doesn't exist. In the end, everything becomes quiet, not because the world is peaceful, but because you finally understand it. Most people spend their lives arguing with reality. They curse fate, resent others, cling to ideals, and call that struggle living. I abandoned that illusion long ago. Reality does not argue. Reality does not explain. Reality only responds to strength. Fang Yuan understood this better than anyone. He once said, "The world is never wrong. It is people who are mistaken." That sentence is not cruel. It is merciful. It frees you from resentment. It frees you from expectation. It forces responsibility back where it belongs, on yourself. When you accept that the world owes you nothing, you stop feeling wronged. You stop begging. You stop wasting energy on anger. You begin to move. People think philosophy is about finding meaning. They are wrong. Philosophy is about removing lies, removing comforting delusions, removing unnecessary emotions. when nothing false remains. What is left is truth, and truth is sharp. Fang Yuan never searched for meaning. He searched for benefit, and in doing so, he became free. Freedom is not doing whatever you want. That is indulgence. Freedom is being able to choose even when the cost is unbearable. Especially then, most people are free only when choices are easy. The moment a decision demands sacrifice, their freedom collapses. Mine does not. I do not fear becoming empty, because emptiness is space. Space for will, space for calculation, space for action. Fang Yuan walked a path where emotions were refined into fuel, not chains. He did not deny humanity. He transcended it. He once said, "I use all things under heaven. Even emotions are just tools." That is the final step most never reach. Love becomes leverage. Hatred becomes clarity. Pain becomes information. Loss becomes experience. Nothing is wasted. People ask whether such a path leads to happiness. Happiness is irrelevant. Happiness is temporary alignment between desire and circumstance. Power is permanent alignment between will and reality. I choose permanence. The righteous cultivate virtue. The foolish cultivate hope. I cultivate inevitability, irreverent insanity. Heaven itself opposes Fang Yuan. Fate Gu, destiny, karmic balance, all of it stands against him. And yet he does not rage. He does not cry injustice. He calmly dismantles heaven piece by piece, because he understands something profound. Systems exist to be exploited, not worshipped. He once declared, "Since heaven wants me dead, I will make heaven my enemy." That is not madness. That is philosophical consistency. If a force restricts your path, that force is hostile, no matter how sacred others claim it to be. Tradition, morality, destiny, even heaven itself mean nothing when placed against an individual with absolute resolve. I do not need the world to agree with me. Agreement is meaningless. I need the world to be unable to stop me. At this stage, good and evil dissolve. They were never real to begin with. They were social tools designed to stabilize groups. Useful, yes, but not universal. Fang Yuan transcended such binaries. He did not ask, "Is this right?" He asked, "Does this bring me closer to my goal?" That is the difference between a thinker and a believer. Believers obey frameworks. Thinkers analyze them. Demons transcend them. If you still need to be seen as good, you are not ready. If you still fear being called evil, you are still owned. Fang Yuan accepted infamy long before he tasted victory. That is why victory eventually bent toward him. He once said calmly, "Reputation is nothing but others' opinions. Why should I care?" Exactly. When you no longer require validation, the world loses its leverage over you. Praise cannot intoxicate you. Insults cannot wound you. Threats cannot control you. You become immovable, not because you are stubborn, but because you are resolved. At the final stage, even ambition quiets. There is no rush, no hunger, no desperation, only direction. Like a blade that no longer needs sharpening. People think the end of this path is domination. It is not. Domination is external. The true end is sovereignty, being untouchable in spirit, unmoved by loss, unchained by desire. Fang Yuan's ultimate strength was not his go, nor his schemes, nor his ruthlessness. It was this: he never betrayed his own will. He failed countless times. He died. He was reset. He lost everything again and again. Yet his will remained intact. That is why he was terrifying. He once said, "Failure is nothing. As long as I am alive, there is hope. Not hope as fantasy, but hope as possibility, forged by will." This is the final philosophy. You may lose everything. You may be hated. You may walk alone. You may become a demon in the eyes of the world. None of that matters. As long as your will remains unbroken, the game is not over. Power is taken, never given. Fate is consumed, not accepted. Heaven is refined, not worshipped. And if the price of standing at the end of the path is to abandon everything that once made you human, then abandon it. Because in this world, only one thing is eternal: Those who endure remain. Endure.